For this tutorial, we're going to show you how to set up the geometry you need for the upper shell. All right, so this is the 3D printed part that you're going to design based off of all the parts you've already assembled. So if I right click on here, I can hide this particular part and I can see that in my upper subassembly, there's a couple of key areas I need to pay attention to. The first one would be the diameter, okay, up here on this edge here, and you'll see it's giving this to me in a radius of 0.210. So if I double that radius, I know the diameter at that end is going to be 420 thousandths of an inch. And then if I look over here at the other part of my upper subassembly, you can see I have this gap underneath here that needs to get filled in. All right. And so that means on this upper shell that we're going to create, we need to have a tenon, or we need to have a step to it. So there's a couple quick dimensions I need. First, I need this outer diameter here of 514 thousandths. All right. So at the outside, it's going to need to match that. And then if I click off and grab this inner diameter, all right, I have an inner diameter of 408 thousandths. And then I need the length of this face here. All right. So going from here to here, I know that that's a center distance of 185 thousandths. And all of these distances that as I'm clicking on them and calling them out show up down here in the lower right-hand corner. All right. So I didn't need to use a dimensioning tool to get this. That being said, I did go through and I created a quick drawing. So this drawing will be available for you on the Promethean board. I'll probably have a couple of copies of it printed out as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Now that we know the dimensions that we need for this, we'll create a new part studio. And inside of our part studio, we're going to start by working on the front plane with a new sketch. And I'm going to go kind of quick with this because a lot of this is stuff we've already done. So realistically, by now, if you have the sketch and the dimensions, you should be able to create all of this without a video. So I'm going to go to set this for construction geometry, and then I'm going to start at my origin, and I'm going to create a horizontal line. I want to set the distance of that horizontal line to 2.125, all right, which is the same as the length of the brass tube that gets glued on the inside of this. All right, so now I'm going to hit escape. And in the event that you didn't drop your dimension in there with the fast dimension, you can always just go up here to the dimension tool, grab it, and set your dimension that way. All right, moving on from there, I'm going to draw a very quick sketch. So we'll hit the F key on the keyboard, zoom to fit, and then we'll, hang on, 1, 2. All right, so I'm going to go back to my straight line tool. All right, but this time I'm not drawing construction geometry. All right, zoom out a little bit here. I'm going to come up from the origin, straight up, in, and up. Okay, and then I'm going to hit escape to get out of my line tool, and I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to go straight up over here, and hit escape. Okay, I also need a line that's going to come straight across. I want to make sure I don't snap it to the midpoint of this line. That's important. So I'm just going to snap it to this line, but not the midpoint. And I'm going to come straight across. So now I'm going to hit escape. All right. Last thing I'm going to do before we start adding dimensions is I'm going to go to my trim tool. The letter M on your keyboard is the shortcut for the trim tool. It also looks like a pair of scissors. All right. So I'll zoom out a little bit. And that's almost all of my sketch right there. So now the question is, let's add some dimensions to this and figure out what we want to do for this very last segment. So for the dimensions, I'm going to go to my dimension tool. I'm going to start from my center line, and then I'm going to come up to the inside. And there's two ways I can do this. I can do this as a radial dimension by just clicking, dropping it, and adding it in. Or if I drag down past my center line, I can get a diametral dimension. If you look, you'll see in front of my dimension, there's a circle with a slash through it. That's the diameter symbol. All right. So in this case, I'll dimension this. This is going to be 7 millimeters or 0.276. If I dimension this as a radius, you'll see that that's also equal to 0.138. All right. So you could do either. All right. In this case, I prefer to use diametral dimensions because the parts and pieces that I'm measuring in real life, I'd be measuring the diameters for. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go from here out to this next point or this next segment. And I'm going to come and drag this down so I can put it in as a diametral dimension. All right, my diametral dimension for this one, or the diameter for this tenon, is 0.408, as we saw on the model. All right, the radial dimension, okay, and I'll give you the radial dimension, going from here to there as a radius is going to be 0.204. Last, I'm going to go from here up to this point. I'm going to come down, and I'm going to set this as a diameter as well. And this has a diameter of 0.257 times 2. No. All right, so I forgot what that dimension is. So let's go back to our assembly. All right. And then we can look right here. Look on it. I got 514 thousandths, 0.514. All right. So now I'll go back to my new part studio and punch that in, 0.514. All right. And then here again, if you want the radial dimension, okay, from here to that point is 0.257. All right. So here you have them as diameters, here you have them as radii, the same dimensions. Hopefully we're not cluttering up the screen and just making it more confusing. All right, on this side, I need the diameter up to this point. And if you recall, when we were in our assembly, that is driven by the diameter of this part of the clip up here. Right, now that's given to us as a radius, and that's because on this part, I don't have a complete circle here because the clip is merged to it. All right, so anytime you're dimensioning an arc or you're referencing an arc, it's going to give you a radius dimension. Anytime you dimension a full circle or cylindrical face, it's going to give you a diameter. All right, so I know the diameter of this is twice the radius, so we're at 0.210 for radius, so it's going to be 0.420 for the diameter. So if we go back to our part studio, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to my dimension tool. Letter D on the keyboard is the shortcut for the dimension tool. And I'm going to grab this and I'm going to set this to 0.210. That's what I got for radial dimension. All right. Otherwise, I can go from here up to my point and then come back down, and you can see it as a diametral dimension. Okay. Again, you know it's a diameter dimension or a diametral dimension because I have the circle with a slash in front of it. So the last thing I need is I need the length of this. All right, we said the length of this tenon was dictated by the length. Oh, sorry, wrong one. It's over here. Okay, it was dictated by the length of this step here. So going from here to here was a center distance of 0.185. So now if we go back to our part studio, all right, we'll go to our dimension tool and we're going to dimension the length of this segment. We'll bring it up here, and that's 0.185. Okay, so the last thing you have to decide is what sort of a shape do you want your this upper shell to be? Okay, and if you look at some of the examples that I've put up on the board, and I can scrub through a couple of those quickly here. All right, so if we come back here and turn this back on, you'll see that this one has a little bit of an outer curvature to it, so that's convexed. We'll put this into isometric view. All right. If we go to concave, you can see that both my grip and the shell up here are kind of caving in a little bit. If we go to linear taper means I'm just going from one point at this diameter straight to this point at the other diameter, and it's just a straight segment. And then that's pretty much it for this one. On this one, we got a little silly and we went wavy with it, but that was just on the grip. We didn't do that up here. On this one, I just went convex, but you can get wavy with it if you want. That's entirely up to you. So if I go back to my part studio, the question is, what sort of a shape do I want? All right. So if I want to do convex, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go to my 3-point arc, and I'm going to go from this point to this point, and then I'm going to move my mouse out here. I haven't clicked yet. I'm moving my mouse in and out until I find a radius that I like. What I can tell you is if you get way out here, it's going to interfere with a clip being able to work. So I would start somewhere with like a maximum radius, no more than maybe a radius of, say, 12. All right. And when you click down, you'll be able to punch in your radius if you want. So if you set it for 12, that's what's going to look like with a radius of 12. The larger the radius, all right, so on my original example, I think I used a radius of 25. Okay, the closer it comes to appearing to be a flat line. All right, so that's convexed. All right, if I want to do concave, all right, I can take that segment and I can drag it in like this. And here again, I can dimension that segment. All right, so if I did a radius of 25, okay, going convex, you could see how it goes the other way. If I did a radius of 12, it's going to probably get to be really, really thin. And it might split on you if you go too much more than 12, then it might split on you when you go to assemble it, if things are too tight. So that's concave. And then the last option would be to get rid of this curve altogether and just to do a straight line that goes from here to there. And that gives me a linear taper, meaning I'm going in a straight line from one point to the other. Okay. So after that, it's a matter of doing a simple revolve, and then you're going to export your parts for 3D printing. Good luck.